ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome all of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com, as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is the official Lightning Flash update for November 16th, 2018, as we are just 2 days away from Survivor Series, where it feels like WrestleMania. We got a lot of great WrestleMania-like matches for Survivor Series, so I'm hoping that Survivor Series turns out to be a pretty damn good pay-per-view. That's what I hope. A guy can dream. But, with WWE, I don't even trust them. First things first, I would like to give a special shout-out to one of the DJ Storms posse members, Hannah Rees. I've shouted her out here on the channel before. Hannah Rees, if you want to go follow her on Twitter, it is at Hannah E. Reeves. That is HANNAHEREES. Hannah Rees. Her kid, Finn. Yes, her kid Finn turns 1 year old today. Baby Finn, if you're watching, happy birthday, little buddy. Now, why don't we get straight into the weekly show reviews? I got some interesting news and rumors that correlated with a lot of things going on this week as far as the shows go. Monday Night Raw. Who the fuck wants to talk about Monday Night Raw? This show is a complete waste of everybody's time outside of one segment and one segment only. If anyone has any praise outside of maybe one or two segments for Monday Night Raw, then you are being way too fucking generous. You are a complete shill, and you should stop watching wrestling altogether. I regret absolutely nothing, I've just said. I regret absolutely nothing. So a tag team battle royal was interrupted by Strowman. Strowman wanted Corbin. Stephanie came out. Strowman demanded that, okay, I'll be a team player at Survivor Series if you give me Baron Corbin, and then you give me another championship match with Brock Lesnar. And Stephanie said done. So Rousey comes out. I mean, this was a big mess of a segment. It was all about just rallying Raw for Survivor Series. Rousey comes out. Corbin comes out. Rousey flips Corbin. And that all happened. It was a real mess. Like no one cared. It was a very stupid way to try and start off Raw, to try and generate buzz. But the main line that will be remembered from this segment was Strowman saying, "Corbin, enjoy being Stephanie's lapdog because after Survivor Series, I'm gonna neuter you." So I have some news on Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin and when it could possibly take place. I also have some news on Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman, should that take place at all. So Tamina defeated Ember Moon. This was absolutely fucking pathetic. Tamina comes out to crickets. Tamina offers absolutely no excitement whatsoever. She's not good in the ring at all. She's boring. Tamina's fucking boring. Seriously. Didn't she botch a promo on SmackDown Live not that long ago? Didn't she botch a promo and said the same thing that Charlotte said about James Ellsworth back during SmackDown in 2017? Who the fuck cares about Tamina? And why is she defeating Ember Moon? Ember Moon is the best women's performer outside of Sasha Banks on Monday Night Raw. Why hasn't Ember Moon had at least one fucking opportunity at the Raw Women's Championship? It's fucking ridiculous how people like Ember Moon are shafted just because of these mainstream attention attractions like Ronda Rousey or these total diva reality stars like Nikki Bella. I stand by what I say should have been Ember Moon versus Ronda Rousey at Evolution, even if Ronda Rousey was supposed to win. Moving on to the most interesting thing about the show. It's not saying much, but at least it developed something. It developed something. Some type of interest. Rollins was interviewed by Corey Graves about his match with Shinsuke Nakamura. Ambrose popped up on the screen. He's sitting out in the parking lot, sitting on top of a car with a trash can that's on fire. Ambrose goes on and says that, I used to think that wearing this vest made me strong, but in fact, you made me weak, Seth. Roman made me weak. The Shield made me weak. He says every day is a new day to take the past and burn it down. Then he drenches the Shield vest in gasoline and then throws it in the trash can full of fire. Now, it was a decent promo by Ambrose. I was intrigued by it. I am looking forward to the match when it does take place between Ambrose and Rollins. WWE could be doing a hell of a lot better of a job, but for what they gave Ambrose and Rollins, decent enough. Decent enough to get by. Other than that, then you didn't have to watch the show at all. So Ziggler and McIntyre came out. Finn Balor interrupted after he had enough of McIntyre just making fun of Kurt Angle. Balor challenged Drew McIntyre to a match, but instead he got Dolph Ziggler. And you know what? It was actually a decent match. I am not going to lie. It was actually a decent match. But at the end of the day, what the fuck is it going to do for Monday Night Raw? Balor defeated Dolph Ziggler. I mean, I am glad that Finn Balor is starting to get some sort of momentum. I'm glad that Balor is getting some wins, but at the end of the day, what the fuck are you going to do with Finn Balor? Finn Balor, realistically, should have already been Intercontinental Champion. Finn Balor, realistically, should have been the one to beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam as the Demon in a no-holds-barred match. Balor should have been the one to take the title away off of Lesnar, not Roman. No matter what anyone wants to try and twist and turn, no matter what type of excuses that this pathetic Roman fan base wants to make up. If not Balor, then it should have been Rollins. Realistically, if we're talking about who really deserved it, Braun Strowman should have taken the title off of Brock Lesnar back at No Mercy of last year. So Ruby Riott, she cut a promo. She cut a promo on Natalya after she snapped the sunglasses that Jim the Anvil Neidhart had. And basically said that, Jim wore those sunglasses because he was ashamed to even look at his own daughter. So Natalya's music hit, Natalya attacked. Alexa Bliss then later announced that Natalya was part of Team Raw. That Team for Raw looks disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Outside of Natalya and Ruby Riott, the team's worthless. So then we had the Tag Team Battle Royal anyway. It only went like 2 minutes, and Chad Gable and Bobby Roode won. So on the pre-show, it's going to be Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, the Ascension, Lucha House Party, the B-Team, and Slater and Rhino. No, it's Chad Gable, Bobby Roode, the B-Team, Slater and Rhino, Lucha House Party, and the Revival, taking on the Usos, the New Day, Sanity, Gallows and Anderson, and the Colognes. Lesnar and Heyman addressed the crowd. Heyman continues to be a promo mastermind. Paul Heyman is great at cutting promos no matter what anyone thinks, even if it's formulaic sometime. I want to be at that level. If I was a WWE superstar and I wanted to cut promos, I would take lessons from Paul Heyman. To a certain extent, I'm not as good as Paul Heyman, but I kind of look at myself as the Leo Rush and Tommaso Ciampa of the wrestling community. But that's really besides the point. Let's continue on with the review. So Mahal came out. Brock Lesnar said, come on in. Hey, Heyman, you should hear this. After all, you're Jewish. Brock is a savage when he's on the mic. The few times when he's on the mic. He can be very, very stone cold. So they were doing the Shanti thing. Brock Lesnar then destroys Jinder Mahal. He actually delivered one suplex to it was Sunil Singh. The first suplex that he delivered to Sunil Singh dropped Sunil right on his neck. Like literally, you could visibly see his neck went straight into the mat. And it bounced. He was holding his neck afterwards. Hopefully he's fine. There's been no reports saying that, he's seriously injured, but it was absolutely brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And by the way, there's actually some people that are complaining that, we should have gotten Jinder Mahal versus Brock Lesnar last year at Survivor Series. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you sure? Are you on some new type of medication? Were you dropped on your head as a child? No, you don't. In case you're wondering, Jinder Mahal was a shit champion. Jinder Mahal was just as bad, if not worse, than Brock Lesnar. Jinder Mahal was one of the worst WWE champions I think we've had. Guy couldn't wrestle for shit. Guy couldn't cut promos for shit. They had to resort to giving him racist promos. That's how bad he was. He got go-away heat. Like I said, he's had some of the worst matches of the year in 2017 with Shinsuke Nakamura. How do you have a bad match with Shinsuke Nakamura? That's what I don't understand. How do you have a bad match with Randy Orton? So don't give me the bullshit. Jinder is right where he should be. A jobber. Elias and Bobby Lashley had a promo. Elias is funny as hell, by the way. Calling Lio Rush a small child. Couldn't be any more than 10. But this match was absolutely a waste of time. Bobby Lashley defeated Elias via countout because Lio Rush held Bobby Lashley's legs. As Lashley was going, not Bobby Lashley's legs. Lio Rush held Elias's legs as Elias was trying to get back into the ring. And that was that. So Bliss revealed her team. It was James, Jax, Tamina, and Natty. Then we had a match between Bayley and Sasha Banks, which ended in DQ. And then Riot came out as the final member, which is absolutely pathetic, by the way. Absolutely pathetic. The fact that Sasha Banks and Bayley and Ember Moon are being left off in one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year shows you how little WWE really cares for women's wrestling. Outside of Natalya and Ruby Riott, that entire team is one of the worst Survivor Series teams I think I've ever seen. And then to top it all off, people actually want to defend Nia Jax because we had a big brawl between SmackDown's women's division and then Raw's women's division, and Nia Jax hit Becky with a straight right, broke her face, broke her nose. Becky was all bloodied. Ronda Rousey came out. Becky started beating the shit out of Rousey with a chair, and Team SmackDown stood tall in the end. People actually want to defend Nia Jax in this situation. I've actually had one person who's a Bella fan, so you know he was bound to be stupid, last night that was actually trying to tell me, women get criticized so much more than the men does, trying to make it a sexist issue. This is not about sexism. Nia Jax has botched numerous amounts of times. Brock Lesnar, you want to bring up Brock Lesnar? That was his first legitimate botch in a while. You want to talk about how he punched Braun Strowman for real at Royal Rumble? Braun Strowman fucked up first with a huge knee to the side of his face. So Brock was basically just teaching him a lesson. That was returning the favor. Nia Jax has screwed up multiple times. And you want to talk about Brie Bella? Forget about Brie Bella. She's the queen of botches. That's why I call her Chewbacca. She is botched in every single match that she has been in since she returned. Thank God she is back doing shitty reality television with Daniel Bryan and her sister. Complete waste of time Monday Night Raw was. SmackDown Live. This was actually a very good show, considering it was a go-home show. Because most of the go-home shows for certain pay-per-views have been very lackluster. And considering there was no invasion, this was a very good show. Styles kicked off the show claiming that he was going to beat Lesnar. Heyman came through the crowd and he says, "You are the second best wrestler in the world," saying that Daniel Bryan was number one. Styles said Lesnar limped out. He didn't walk out of Survivor Series, and he's become more vulnerable to tapping out. And he's going to tap out Brock Lesnar. So Bryan came out. Bryan says not to mention his name, or else he's going to punch him in the face. Styles mentions his name, and then we get a big brawl. Shane McMahon's trying to separate Styles and Bryan, and Shane McMahon, you know what? Forget about this. You want it? It's on the line tonight. So we get a WWE Championship match. And at this rate, I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to do it. They're going to give Daniel Bryan the WWE title. We're getting Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. But as the night went on, and I saw that, there was security posted at the entranceway, I thought to myself, are they really going to do it? I don't think so. I think there might be an invasion. I don't think they're going to give the title to Bryan. Now, that was as the show went on. It was kind of on, off, on, off. I was like, yes, they're giving it to Bryan. No, they're not giving it to Bryan. By the time the match started, I thought to myself, yeah, they're not going to give it to Bryan. Boy, was I wrong. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Jeff Hardy versus Andrade Cien Almas. Why is Almas taking another loss? So Almas can't even beat Jeff Hardy? Jeff Hardy's going nowhere. Jeff Hardy is not doing anything that we know of past Survivor Series. He has nowhere to go. Why is Andrade Cien Almas not even on the Survivor Series team? Has Vince really just given up on Almas? Does Almas have any major plans going into the future? Yeah, it was a decent match, but at the end of the day, Jeff Hardy doesn't need a win. Jeff Hardy's in a position where he needs to start putting people over. Why is Andrade Cien Almas basically being wasted? He's been on a 6-7 match losing streak at this rate. And then people want to say, oh no, Almas will be fine. Do you really trust this company? I don't. Almas should realistically be undefeated. He should have realistically never lost a match until now. Look at Lio Rush. Lio Rush was undefeated for 6 months before his first loss to Cedric Alexander, which I will talk about. Pathetic treatment of Andrade Cien Almas. He is worth so much more. He should be next in line for the United States Championship. Never mind losing to Jeff Hardy. So we had Rey Mysterio defeating The Miz. Good match for what it was, but we've seen this match 3 times already. Randy Orton tried to attack again. Rey Mysterio dodged it. Miz ended up taking the RKO. So Becky then came out after this match. She addressed the WWE Universe and the roster. And she picked Charlotte. And I actually have some news. I actually have some big news as it relates to this. Everyone was already calling for it, and Dave Meltzer has reported that they are already considering it. And I will discuss it when we get to the news, rumors, and reports section of the Lightning Flash update. But I think this is a great choice. Charlotte versus Ronda is just as big, if not bigger, than Becky versus Ronda. I would have much rather have seen Asuka, but I get why they're doing Charlotte versus Ronda. I get why they're doing that. It's still a big match either way, and it still could be a phenomenal match. I'm not going to take anything away from them. The Bar and the Big Show then defeated the New Day. Obviously, the Bar wasn't losing going into a champion versus champion match with the AOP on Sunday at Survivor Series. It was a decent match. Big Show got the win with the KO punch to Kofi. It wasn't really anything too special. Decent 6-man tag. Big Show and the Bar won. That was that. Now we get to the main event. First off, this match was great. This match was great. One of the better TV matches of the month. Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. I love the in-ring psychology between Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. There was some great spots in this match. We had a 450 countered into the yes lock. And I thought AJ Styles might attack, but he got to the ropes. Bryan went for the knee. AJ Styles kicked him in the knee, reversed it into the calf crusher. I thought Bryan was going to tap, but Bryan was able to wriggle out of it. Into the yes lock again. AJ countered. Bryan throws him over the top. AJ went for the phenomenal forearm. Bryan sidesteps it. Styles went into the ref. Out of nowhere, low blow to AJ Styles. Running knee. Daniel Bryan wins a very good match. And Daniel Bryan ends AJ Styles' WWE Championship reign at 371 days to win the WWE Championship in shocking fashion. And then afterwards, he turned heel. Stomped repeatedly on AJ Styles' head, which looked brutal. We get Daniel Bryan versus Lesnar, which is just as good as Styles and Lesnar. What happens now? I don't think Bryan is going to win, nor do I expect him to. However, I expect that this could be a huge positive in the career of Daniel Bryan. I'm already loving this heel turn. I love it. It had Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa written all over it. And I literally saw everyone on my Twitter timeline saying Daniel Bryan is channeling his inner Johnny Gargano, or Daniel Bryan is channeling his inner Tommaso Ciampa. I've seen some of my posse members say the same thing. This could be huge. Daniel Bryan as a heel. Now, he was an annoying heel before. Can you imagine what he's going to be like as a serious heel? Where does he go now? I don't know. Obviously, the match with Miz at WrestleMania is out of the question. Now, they could do Rusev, because Rusev's technically a face. You're not going to put the title back on AJ Styles. That would be blatant disrespect to Styles and blatant disrespect to Daniel Bryan, how they would just end the championship reign just to get Daniel Bryan and Lesnar. They should not take the title off of Bryan after Survivor Series. I do expect the TLC match for the title at TLC with Styles and Bryan, which is going to be great, but I don't expect Styles to win. They could do Rusev, or they could do a Raw superstar winning the Rumble to take on Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Maybe Rollins or Balor. You never know, but we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. But otherwise, SmackDown Live was very good. I like the unpredictability. This was actually a very good, unpredictable moment. And you don't really see that in WWE nowadays. It's very rare. But with Daniel Bryan's heel turn, that was a great, unpredictable moment. I loved it. I can't wait to see where it goes. 205 Live. This was a good show. It may not have been the best. It started off a bit lackluster, but by the end of it, that match with Cedric Alexander and Lio Rush really brought it up. Match started off with Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher versus the Brian Kendrick and Akira Tozawa. This was a decent tag team match for what it was. I wasn't really expecting anything too newsworthy. I wasn't really expecting a show stealer. I was expecting something that would further the storyline, and it did. The Brian Kendrick was shoved by Jack Gallagher into Akira Tozawa, while Akira Tozawa had that octopus stretch on Drew Gulak, and Drew Gulak was able to roll up Akira Tozawa and get the win. So obviously this is building towards the final blow-off. This is building towards the final blow-off where Akira Tozawa and the Brian Kendrick are going to get their revenge. We had a face-to-face confrontation with Ali and Buddy Murphy, the official weigh-in. They did not announce that this is going to be on the pre-show, so hopefully it's going to be on the main show. I would like to see this match kick off the show. And I've said it before on where they should go with this match, and I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow on the Rundown for Survivor Series. I will discuss it more. Kalisto and Lindsay Dorado defeated a couple jobbers. Maria Kanellis was on the Titantron, and she basically said, okay, next week it's going to be TJP versus Gran Metalik. She's got something in store for the Lucha House Party. I don't know what, but regardless, I'm very much interested in this feud. I like the fact that Mike Kanellis is in the Cruiserweight division as well. I've stated that before. Cedric Alexander versus Lio Rush. This was a great match. Great match. Now, it only went 12, 13 minutes, and I felt as though these two could have used a little bit more time, but for the time they were given, they put on probably one of the better 13-minute matches of 2018. 13 minutes, it's really not that long if you think about it, but for the time they were given, they put on a great damn match. I felt as though Mustafa Ali versus Tony Nese was just a little bit better than this match. Back on the Halloween episode of 205 Live, I felt that match was just a little bit better than this match, but this was still a great match. It had a lot of innovative spots. Lio Rush was a technician in this one, just trying to wear Cedric Alexander down, just trying to ground Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander was on the receiving end of a Spanish fly by Lio Rush. Lio Rush missed the final hour. Cedric went for a Michinoku driver. Lio Rush rolled him up. Lio Rush then, I believe, was caught in the lumbar check, I believe. I believe Cedric was going for the lumbar check. Lio Rush reversed it. Cedric Alexander reversed it from a powerbomb position. It was like from a powerbomb position, he shoved Lio Rush away, and Lio Rush, I've never seen this before. Lio Rush dives, like, it was like he was going to do a rope guillotine, and he was going to land on his feet on the outside. He catches his hands on the ropes, and he pulls himself back up into a stunner. Bounces himself off the bottom ropes into a stunner on Cedric Alexander. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life. And then, Lio Rush was going for something big. Cedric Alexander hits the Spanish Fly, hits the lumbar check, and Lio Rush got a huge bounce on that lumbar check, if you didn't see. And this was Lio Rush's first loss. Am I mad? No, because this is part of the storyline with Cedric Alexander. Get him some wins back. Lio Rush is going to have his time. Lio Rush is going to be the next Cruiserweight champion after Mustafa Ali. That doesn't need to happen for a while. So, Cedric Alexander, he beat Lio Rush. Good. This is going to continue the storyline, and Cedric is eventually going to get his rematch down the line. Trust me when I say it is going to be worth it, and I will explain once again what the plan is, or what I think the plan is going to be for the next 6 months as it relates for the Cruiserweight division. But overall, good show for 205 Live. NXT, I mean, it was really just, it really wasn't too special. I mean, we had a great match with Kyle O'Reilly and Hanson of the War Raiders. Hanson actually proved that he can go as a singles competitor. So Bianca Belair defeated Mia Yim. Decent match. Obviously, Bianca Belair is being built up to be the next number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. That's going to be after TakeOver War Games. Matt Riddle and Cassius Ohno had a face-to-face confrontation, and it was confirmed that Matt Riddle will take on Cassius Ohno next week. Should be good. Lacey Evans defeated a jobber, and she basically cut a promo that she's going to take everyone out with the women's right. So if they don't do Bianca Belair, they could do Lacey Evans. I wouldn't mind Lacey Evans. If they want to, then they could very well have Kairi Sane win, which I expect her to win at TakeOver War Games. I reported that on the rundown for TakeOver War Games on Wednesday. I expect Kairi Sane to win. You could do Kairi Sane versus Lacey Evans in a one-off match at TakeOver Phoenix. And if you want to, you can hold off on Bianca, and Bianca can get her title match at TakeOver Brooklyn 5. And that's when Bianca Belair becomes a champion. I wouldn't mind that. Kyle O'Reilly versus Hanson. This had a lot of great spots. We had pop-up power slams, Kyle O'Reilly with those penalty kicks. I love that penalty kick that O'Reilly does. Kyle O'Reilly was on the verge of losing. Adam Cole came out, distracted Hanson. Hanson hit a picture-perfect moonsault. I don't know how the hell he's able to do that. 300 pounds, and he's doing a Bam Bam Bigelow-like moonsault. Then we had Rowe of the War Raiders came out, then Undisputed Era, then Ricochet, then Pete Dunne. Amongst all this melee, the ref was trying to get everyone under control. Kyle O'Reilly hits Hanson in the back of the neck with the championship. Kyle O'Reilly gains the advantage for his team going into War Games tomorrow night at NXT TakeOver. It is going to be good. Trust me when I say it's going to be good. Decent episode for NXT. Nothing too special, but it did the job as far as getting us hyped for War Games. Now, let's dive into the news, rumors, and reports. Number 1, I got some news on TLC. Some of the matches have been leaked. So, the SAP Center in San Jose, California is currently advertising 3 matches for WWE TLC, which of course will take place on December 16th. It will be co-branded. One of the matches is Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental title. Now, it is not specified if this match will be contested under TLC rules. It is unspecified if any of these matches will be contested under stipulations. So, take this with a grain of salt. The second match is Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. Obviously, because Nia Jax won the opportunity back at Evolution. Now, originally, they were advertising Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre for TLC. But, due to the recent change in storyline, they are now advertising Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. So, I assume that is going to be some type of stipulation match, and I assume that, yes, Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin will take place at WWE TLC. I expect it to. Hopefully it's good. Most likely it won't, because remember, this is WWE we're talking about. And I assume that Braun Strowman should get his match against Brock Lesnar again at the Royal Rumble, if I'm not mistaken. But so far, those are the three matches being advertised by the SAP Center in San Jose, California for WWE TLC. So we got that. Dave Meltzer reported that WWE, as of right now, is considering Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. So, in reality, this injury could have turned out to be something better rather than something worse. So we could very well see Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. And I quote, the Mania main event today, or the Mania match today, the Mania match today, it was talked about. It's Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch, which is probably going to be the main event at Mania or one of the two big matches at Mania. End quote. That was exactly what Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio. So, if my calculations serve me correctly, we could very well see Becky Lynch win the Women's Royal Rumble rather than Charlotte, and Becky Lynch goes up against Ronda Rousey, and Becky Lynch takes the Raw Women's title off of Ronda Rousey. This is great news. This is absolutely fantastic news, and we could be looking at perhaps one of the biggest women's matches in WrestleMania history. Now, I'm hoping that they do the right thing and they have Becky Lynch beat Ronda, because, last year, after what they did with Asuka, you can't really trust anyone. Now, we could end up getting Charlotte and Asuka again, but, that's on SmackDown side. Right now, on Raw side, it looks to be Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, which I am ecstatic about. So, that's good. That's a good sign. Hopefully they follow through. My next report consists of Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman as it relates to the Universal Championship. According to Dave Meltzer, by way of cage-side seats, Brock Lesnar will not be wrestling Braun Strowman at WrestleMania 35. So, any match between them is likely to happen before then. So at this rate, we could be looking at Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman at the Royal Rumble. Hopefully Braun Strowman wins the Universal Championship there, and we get Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 35. If you want to do Brock Lesnar versus The Rock, you could, but it doesn't need to be for the Universal title. Enough of these part-timers competing for the top titles. Okay? We've already had Triple H and The Undertaker, two aging part-timers. They already main evented 2 pay-per-views in a row for WWE as it relates to Crown Jewel and then Super Showdown. So we don't need any more part-timers in the main event. So end it. And my final report of the day before I get out of here. Ringside News came out with an article saying that Vince McMahon actually changed the plans to Styles and Lesnar before Becky even got injured. So this was actually planned days in advance. This was planned on Sunday, before the incident with Becky and Nia Jax took place on Monday Night Raw. Dave Meltzer even reported that the heel turn was decided the afternoon before the show. And since Daniel Bryan did request a match with Brock Lesnar in his new contract that he signed, I'm assuming that this heel turn was also okayed by Daniel Bryan as well. I mean, put it this way, it could do wonders for Daniel Bryan's career. I am excited for this heel turn. I'm excited for this match with Lesnar. And I actually commend WWE. I'm not going to complain about this. I actually like the fact that they changed it. I would have loved to see Styles and Lesnar, don't get me wrong, but I have really no problem with the fact that they changed it. I'm not going to bitch and moan and complain like everybody else. I'm not going to say that, oh God, Daniel Bryan sucks and he's overrated. The people that say Daniel Bryan is overrated are the same exact type of people that say Roman Reigns is not overrated. So, shut your fucking mouth. And then you wanna say that, oh God, AJ Styles was a terrible champion. He wasn't a terrible champion. He wasn't a boring champion. It's like, no matter what happens, these guys can't win. You want to talk about a boring champion? Do you remember Brock Lesnar's Universal Championship reign? Do you remember Natalya's SmackDown Women's Championship reign? Now that was fucking boring. That was boring. But AJ Styles, with all the great matches that he's had over the course of the last year, his title reign wasn't boring. His title reign wasn't boring at all, alright? Stop with the over-exaggeration. And as far as Daniel Bryan goes, this right here is a dream match of epic proportions. And this could be huge for both Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar. And I don't want to hear a fucking peep out of anyone saying that, oh, Daniel Bryan is not a believable character against Brock Lesnar. AJ Styles is basically the same size as Daniel Bryan, and look at what AJ Styles did. Daniel Bryan could do the exact same thing. Maybe not as good as AJ Styles, but for sure Daniel Bryan could do a huge favor in the eyes of the public and bring Brock Lesnar to a great match, which I hope he does. I'm actually looking forward to this match. We got a lot of good matches to look forward to this weekend, and I almost dropped my notebook there. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to leave a thumbs up. I am trying to move up in the world, alright? Now, if you're going to leave me a thumbs down, fuck you, because I'm trying to move up in the world. If you don't like what I do, then you shouldn't be acknowledging my existence. But hit that thumbs up. I want to see that thumbs up rate keep on rising. I want to see you guys leave a comment down below. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on the Daniel Bryan situation. I want to hear what you guys think about Survivor Series and TakeOver as a whole. I want you to go and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. Become a member of the DJ Storms posse. I put in an order for my DJ Storms official wristbands, so they should be coming in within the next week. I could sell them around the area. If you live around the New Jersey area, I'd be more than happy to hook up with you and we can exchange. Also, Pub 46, Clifton, New Jersey, this Sunday, November 18th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, is the official Wrestling Express meetup for Survivor Series. Now, if you live on the East Coast, I want you to head on down to Clifton, New Jersey. I want you to go to Pub 46. Come and hang with me. Come and hang with the administration members of Wrestling Express, like Tommy McGrogan, Glenn Davidson, and so many more. And I also want you to drop a huge Purple Rainmaker elbow drop on that notifications bell, so that way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because as always, the best time to be on YouTube is when I grace it with my presence. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update, and I will catch you tomorrow for the rundown for Survivor Series. Don't forget, come on down to Pub 46. We're trying to gain some new members. It's free of charge. What are you waiting for? I'll catch you guys tomorrow.